Fox News alert moments ago, the Associated Press reporting that the defense has rested in the capital murder trial of Philadelphia abortion doctor Kermit Gosnell. He will not testify. He will not call any witnesses. This is a surprise to those who have been closely following this trial. And it comes just as the White House announces President Obama will, in fact, speak as planned at a Planned Parenthood event this Friday. He will be their keynote speaker, just as the group comes under fire for reportedly knowing about some of the horror stories from the Gosnell clinic, but not doing more with that information. Monica Crowley is a radio talk show host. Kirsten Powers is a Daily Beast columnist. Both are Fox News contributors. The Philadelphia Inquirer says women used to go into the Philly Planned Parenthood all the time with horrific injuries, and as a result of Dr. Gosnell. And Planned Parenthood says, well, we would always encourage them to report it to the Department of Health, but that's about it. So you've got that, and then you've got this Planned Parenthood lobbyist who just testified down in Florida. She was so confused about whether a baby born alive as a result of a botched abortion. She just couldn't decide whether that baby should get medical care. Would it get medical care? The baby's born alive. It's on the table, struggling for life. Do you call the doctor or not? Remember her? Let's watch her.
You stated that that a baby born on a table as a result of a botched abortion, that decision should be left to the doctor and the family. Is that what you're saying?
That decision should be between the patient and the healthcare provider.
I think that at that point, the patient would be the child struggling on a table. Wouldn't you agree?
That's a very good question. I really don't know how to answer that.
Good timing for President Obama, Kirsten, to be going to to be the keynote speaker at a Planned Parenthood event?
Not great timing, no. Planned Parenthood did put out a statement after a lot of pressure after this lobbyist said that, and said that they, of course, would want the baby to receive medical attention, even though it almost never happens, which my obvious question that I had after that was, well, what does almost never happens mean, and how many babies above the number 0 are we okay with this happening? Because this happened in the context, as you know, Megyn, of a debate over an infant born alive act that would require by law that you would give medical assistance, and Planned Parenthood was opposing that. So, they later withdrew that opposition because they were getting so much bad press. But why would you oppose that if you say you support providing medical care to infants born alive?
It's very, in your face, Monica, for the president to go and do that, to be the keynote speaker for such a controversial group. And even if you support them, you got to admit they're controversial. They've now come out and condemned Kermit Gosnell and his clinic and said it's, in their view, it justifies the need for Planned Parenthood more than ever. But this guy ran this clinic for 30 years and reportedly killed hundreds, if not thousands, of babies born alive.
Yes. Well, the words of Planned Parenthood now, when they were, as Kirsten points out, backtracking on their Florida lobbyist words, and now saying that they find that what happened in Kermit Gosnell's clinic to be, quote, appalling. That's all kind of self-serving language now to justify their appalling inaction when their attention was called at least several times by people who had been in this clinic, saying the conditions here are absolutely outrageous, and this clinic needs to be looked at. But I think in terms of the president, Megyn, when you're talking about bad timing, yes, that's all true, but it's not a mystery as to why the president is speaking at their fundraising gala on Friday night. This is a man who has consistently supported this kind of thing. And I go back to his time as a state senator in Illinois. He had a chance, not once, not twice, but 3 times to put into place, or at least to vote for a law called the Born Alive Infant Protection Act in the state of Illinois, 2001, 2002, 2003, that would protect infants who were, as in these cases,
didn't do it.
born alive. Not only did he do it,
let me jump in because we're coming up against a hard break.
He actively opposed it 3 years in a row.
Up against a hard break, but he was asked about this trial, and he declined to comment because it's an ongoing trial. He had a different view on some other trials. That's next. Back now with a couple of items of breaking news. First, the White House announcement that President Obama will speak as planned to Planned Parenthood this week. It was going to happen Thursday, now it's going to happen Friday, but he's going to be the keynote speaker for Planned Parenthood's big event this week. Despite reports that Planned Parenthood knew of at least some of the horror stories coming out of this Philadelphia abortion clinic, but didn't do much about it. And again, the Philadelphia Inquirer, Monica Crowley's back with me, Kirsten Powers as well, is reporting that Ms. Steinberg, who runs that Philadelphia Planned Parenthood, appeared with Gloria Steinem recently and talked about this. And this is a quote: "We would always encourage them, you know, when they came into Planned Parenthood next, to report it to the Department of Health." I mean, we don't know what she was told. We don't know what the women going to Planned Parenthood were told after they went to Gosnell. But what was happening in that clinic is babies were being killed on the tables by, according to numerous staff members. In fact, they said the vast majority of abortions performed, they were performed past the 24-week marks. All right, now I can tell you as a pregnant woman, you get to 24-week marks, you see your baby on the ultrasound, he or she is yawning, they're kicking, they're sucking their thumb. That's who he was murdering. Okay, so that's who he was murdering. Why is President Obama going to Planned Parenthood, which isn't accused of this, Kirsten? They're not accused of this, but it's clear that they could have done more in Gosnell, and it's clear that they are so controversial, other presidents have not been this in your face about it.
Well, I would say that, Planned Parenthood certainly is not responsible for this. I think the fact that if you have them saying that they knew about it, if you look at the grand jury report, everyone in the community knew what was going on. The National Abortion Federation had inspected his clinic and knew what was going on. And it's not just about the babies. It's the women, too. These women were being butchered. He had paid damages multiple times, 5 times, for perforating cervixes. He was giving women diseases. They're supposed to be protecting women, so I would think that they would be standing up for these women.
Yep, it's on for now, although Gosnell's not calling witnesses at his own trial. Panel